Hi, fish.
Day 1. Just made it. Flights went well. Everything was smooth. Flying super fun. No inboard movies on the screens, like on the back of the seats, but shout out to GoGo Internet. Thanks to Alaska Airlines for sponsoring this day 1 video. First impressions of the camp. It's a shit show. This is gonna suck. I don't know, might be fun. Gotta get out there, gotta slap some hogs to see. But just found my new pea spot right there. It's gonna be fun. Quote of the day, day 1. This is this guy named Justin. I'll introduce you to him later, maybe. He's telling the story, and just out of nowhere, just not at all related to the story, he just goes, "My mother, big tits, big ass, red hair." And I say, "That's all you need to know." And he chuckles. That's that. Quote of the day. Stay tuned till tomorrow. Yeah, so camp is going to be a grind. Outhouse is pretty far away. Town's like 7 miles away. Can't really get there. There's dogs. This is a good one. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Yeah, we don't know their names. But, the native people dogs. And this one's friendly. I like him. Those guys are kind of annoying. Especially that one. Look at him. You can just tell he's an asshole. But look at his lover. More. Poor guy. What should I name you? Comment below what I should name this dog. That's cool. We're going out at like 11 o'clock tonight, I think. It's supposed to be really shitty, but should be fun. Is this a better angle? This is a better angle. This is the best angle. Alright, over and out. As the title suggests, it is now midnight. Like 12:17 to be exact. Still very light out. We got all geared up, suited up, and it was called off because there was too much wind or something, a storm. So now we're gonna watch a movie, apparently. I think I just heard some kids playing basketball up the street. Just brushed my teeth. We'll see. Alright. Information segment. On this segment of information, location.
Hey, Will, can you tell me where you are?
Sure. How do you want me to do that?
I don't know, in like a deep, serious voice and a couple of rapidly changing graphics.
Take the world. Now zoom in. North America, United States. Not the lower 48. Alaska. Southeastern corner of the Bering Sea. Bristol Bay. A few miles north, Dillingham. Population of 2,329. Now take a quick left on Chuthmuck off Kanakanak. Liboffville. Take a right, first shack to the left, D's little hellhole. Or in other words, home sweet home. That's where. Day 2. Probably, hopefully the worst day.
I'm gonna have up here is fucking terrible. Probably, maybe one of my worst days of my life. It's just miserable. We went out for about 6 hours or so. The wind was fucking howling. Waves crashing over the boat. It was cold and wet and ewy. And it's just like, the way we treat the salmon is so sad. Just like tons of them in nets. You just rip them out of the nets. There's one point today where I just had to like look away from the other guys and just bawl. Probably cried about 8 times today. And I'm a man, so like, whew, that's saying something. But I called my daddy afterwards, and we talked, and I was happy because I like my dad. I'm very homesick. Anyways, I'm in a steam room right now. It's pretty cool. It's not really steamy right now. It's just warm. But this is kind of my humble abode. Quote of the day. Quote of the day was by Mr. D. Barker. He said, "This will make you decide if you want to work or if you want to study." Which is interesting. And I think I'm choosing studying because the working part fucking sucked. Alright, over and out. Hi. I'm Will Denny, and this is my skit. It's dedicated to my dad and Aunt Beth. That was my skit, and it was called Slurp. Day 3, morning update. Last night, found my new humble abode. This one's a keeper. It's just basically a freaking house. It's got a TV, VHS recorders, couches. They're pretty trash couches. I prefer this carpet, which is nice. Really nice sleeping bag. Really cozy. Of course, it doesn't have bathroom or potable water or anything, but that's a little much to ask for. However, it has Wi-Fi. That's huge. It's kind of a lifesaver. Anyways, this is where I'm going to try to spend all my time now. It also doesn't smell like shit like the other place does. I'm going to try to sleep here if I can. Because the owner he doesn't come in for another 2 weeks or something. Then I'll have to move out. Anyways, we were going to go out this morning at like 9 o'clock, but the wind was still shitty, so D called it off, which is very good. Very happy about that. Yeah, so I got to paint a buoy and color it. This here is my art project. Look how pretty it is. I totally did that. I totally did numbers and stuff. I'm especially proud of this bee. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. Well, anyways, D said we're probably not going to go out for another 12 hours. Maybe 24. Might just go out at the same time tomorrow morning, which is super nice. Basically a day off. What? Oh. Okay, guys, I guess it's time for an information segment.
On this segment of information, set netting.
Alright, so this is set netting. Set netting is just what we do. This is how we fish. This is how we do our fishing here. So, got props. These are going to be buoys. Pretzels are the anchors. I think they kind of look like anchors. We got our net right here. This line. We got our boat. You can tell this is the boat because it looks exactly like a boat. And then, of course, our fishies. Our salmon. All right. So, start off the day. It's basically, there's one anchor. This is, wood is water. This is the shore over here. So, we got our buoy attached to our anchor. This is a screw anchor, so it's like 3 feet deep, 3 feet long, screws down into the shore. It's really mucky and gross, the shores here. So then in the buoy, attach that with rope. Then there's also this anchor that's attached to 2 buoys. There's the jerk line, which is the line between this and the jerk buoy. Then there's the anchor line, which is attached to this buoy. And these just kind of like, they're usually kind of close to this buoy when we come pick them up, but that they can be really anywhere due to wherever the tide really takes them. It just picks them up and puts them somewhere else. So yeah, so then here we come in our big boat. Oh, pretty little boat. We got the net up front like this, all nice and neat up there, and then we go right there to this buoy. Take one end, run up. Sometimes we have to run up shore, hook up onto this buoy. Then we reverse out, or we don't necessarily reverse, we turn around, come on over to these guys, and then we pick all of these up in our boat. First pick up the jerk line, put that buoy in there, then that's attached, this is attached to this anchor. Anchor comes in, and then they're all attached, rope, so they all come in. Then we attach the other end of the net to the anchor line buoy. Back up, stretch the net out. Jesus. Once it gets stretched out, we have to throw this buoy out, then throw the anchor out, and then we throw the jerk line buoy out. So then those are all set. This usually has some slack in it in the beginning. That's where the jerk line buoy comes in. We come up, hook onto this guy, and then we plow out and we pull all this with it, and the net's attached to this guy. So the net's just hanging between these 2 buoys. The net consists of 2 lines actually. It's got this line, and then this line is just regular rope with cork buoys across the line, so it floats on top of the water. Then it has another line down here. That's the lead line, called the lead line because it actually has lead in it, so it sinks down to the bottom, and it's about 8 feet of net between it. And this is about 25 fathoms, and every fathom is 6 feet. So that's about how long that is. The squares in the net are about 5 inches apart. So now we have the net between buoys. They're anchored down, and then our jerk line's just kind of floating around, being useless right now. Then we're on our boat. We come hook up to either one of these buoys, and we sit on the net. It's called sitting on the net. It's just waiting. And what we're waiting for is these guys coming up. Glug, 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 glug. That's what fish sound like, I think. So bam, they're all caught in the net. Oh no. Now we pick the net. So what we do is we grab this buoy, we yank it over the bow. Then there are things called stanchions in our boat, and they're just literally Little League baseball bats that stick up from here. And there are 4 of them. And then we take out these stanchions, haul the line into here, and put the stanchions back. So now it's locked horizontally or perpendicularly to the boat. And then we just pull on this line. Buoy goes out. Pull the net, and the fish just come into the boat as we're pulling the net. We just pull horizontally. We want to be, we're facing, they call it with the current, but it's just against the current. It's like going this way, but I don't know. They don't know what they're talking about. Anyways, so the fish come up with the net. We take the fish out of the net, and we throw them into these big big boxes down there. And so we pick this net, pick them all up, all the fish go in to the little boxes, and then what we usually do is that more fish will come in while we're doing that into where we just picked, and then we'll come back and pick that, and then throw this over the bow and get out of there. And then we'll either deliver to the tender or we'll sit again, or usually we have 25 fathom nets out, so we'll either go between nets or whatever. But say we only had one net out, and we'd sit on the net again, and then when we want to leave, so all our fish would go glug, 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 back into the net, or new fish. Then we'd pick again, pull this over the bow, pull ourselves horizontally, just like that, just across the net, get all these fish in, glug, glug, ow, boom, boom. And then if we're about to leave, it's called pick and pull. So we pick that way, unsnap here, they call it snaps, they're just carabiners, unsnap from that buoy, and then we go like this, pull it over the bow, and then one guy's pulling the cork line, one guy's pulling the lead line, and we pull up. Sometimes there are more fish, usually there are more fish in there, and we pull it across the front of the bow, and we just throw it down in a perfect little clump like that right in the front of the boat while we're picking more fish that come up. Fish in the boat, and then boom, and we just leave, and then we go off to our tenders, drop the fish, and then skedaddle home over yonder. And then we just leave those buoys there. This guy will stay there because he's anchored to the ground, but this guy, when the tide goes up, the lines will get taut and the buoys will just pull the anchor up, float the anchor, and then it'll just go basically wherever the tide wants it to. They'll just stay together and we come find it in the morning. So yeah, that's set netting. Hello, I'm here for the day 3 evening update, back in the steam room. Today was great. I can't complain. We had a false alarm at like 9 a.m. today, got all suited up, went down to the beach. Ended up turning around because it was really windy once again. Made the right decision today. So yeah, I've just been chilling around camp all day. Fixed the smokehouse. Painted that buoy. Oh, I found look at my toe, it's pretty fun. Ready? Look! Oh. That's cool, right? I don't know. It's something. But yeah, so today's been nice. I didn't have to go fishing, which is super dope. We just had dinner. Salmon and potatoes, just like last night. I realized that I'm going to miss the World Cup final today, which kind of sucks a lot. But hey, there's always another 4 years. Earlier today, I was sitting in the room next to the steam room, right over there, and I was thinking, what's the best thing to have in a small room with very few things to break? A ball. So I went to Justin and asked if he had a tennis ball or anything, because it's a pretty small room. I just want to kick around and have fun with it. And later in the day, he brought back a yoga ball, and that doesn't work out as well. Still fun though. Quote of the day, a little kid came up to me while I was outside. He's like 11 years old. I don't know if he's fishing or what, but he was telling me about a porcupine that he just saw near his little cargo container. And then he said, anyways, I gotta run. I gotta do some fishing stuff. It's pretty cute, and I enjoyed it and made me smile. Anyways. Yep. Over and out. Day 4, evening update. 7:14 in the PM. About to have dinner, macaroni and cheese, which is nice little change up. Did about 7 hours of fishing today. Went a lot smoother than day 2 fishing. It was just the wind was calm. There were barely any waves. Didn't rain nearly as much. Actually, the sun almost came out once. But it's yet to really come out. I just blew my nose and a salmon scale came out, which is kind of funny. They get everywhere. It's pretty dirty work. I still feel really bad for this salmon, but if anything were to make me a vegetarian, it would be this. Maybe it would be like the opposite of a pescatarian. Like, I'll eat all the other meat, just not fish. Probably the right thing to do. Quote of the day. While we were sitting on a net, we got to arguing about politics, which is fun. D's a hardcore conservative. Justin is he says he's independent, but he's just like obviously very conservative. He just wants to be able to be a little different than everyone else. Anyways, so there were a lot of good quotes from that, but one I remembered that just kind of wrapped up all their vague rebuttals and everything. We were talking about homeless people and how the city of Seattle shouldn't be spending any money on them and how the churches should just handle them, Salvation Army and stuff. So then Justin said something about how he got a laboring job that paid $20 an hour, and he was like, homeless people could totally do all of that, and they should just go out and find a job. And then he said, as one of his points, he was like, some people are willing to pay certain amounts of money. And I was like, certain amounts of money? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, whoa. It's just like such a vague, dumb thing to say. But, yep. Quote of the day.
Doofy. Come here, buddy. Good boy, Doofy. Comments came in. Got his new name, guys. Surprisingly, 100% of you requested Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz as the name. He is the evil genius from the famed show Phineas and Ferb. I don't know, it's kind of a childish name, but you guys decided it. I have no clue who he is. But I'll let my viewers take part. So yeah, I'm calling him Doofy for short. Little doofus. Good boy.
Day 5. 7:54 in the AM. Got out of bed at around 3 o'clock like a good little soldier boy, ready to fish. Set our first net around 4. We combined the two 25 fathom nets together today. Made a big old 50 fathom net. That's exciting for the high tide. Caught a huge 14-pound chum today. Kept that. I'm gonna smoke that, I think. So that's also exciting. Dee's flying nose up right now for the smokehouse, which I fixed a few days ago. If you haven't noticed, I'm wearing the same clothes. I got this gray long sleeve on. I'm wearing the same exact clothes that I have been since day 1. I figured I'm here for about 20 days, have about 5 pairs of clothes, so I gotta wear them all for at least 4 days. So I get a change tonight, which I'm pretty excited about. Get some fresh pairs of undies on, pretty fancy. Mosquitoes are just relentless up here. It's ridiculous. But there's one benefit to the mosquitoes. It gives me an excuse to not talk to Justin. Because Justin will always come up like right next to me, and he'll just want to be close to me, and it's like kind of weird. He wants to talk and stuff. So now, just like the second he comes up to me, I'll just immediately pretend like there's a mosquito and just like run away, and then I'll just separate myself from him. So that gives me a good excuse. Whoa, big cemetery up there. A lot. Yeah, so get away from Justin. I haven't told you. I feel like I've talked a lot about Justin, but I haven't told you much about him. I should. If only there was a information segment.
On this segment of information,
Justin. Alright, there aren't many graphics for this little segment. Maybe I'll find a picture for him. Just went over to take a photo of Justin. Gave me a whole lecture on how he has never taken a photo without flipping off the camera, how he hates pictures. So yeah, beware of the bird. It's kind of a testament to his character. Oh, here's Justin right now. Good. Yeah, interesting looking man. But anyways, this graphic will have to do. It's a great lookout right out of our camp. Anyways, Justin, rough childhood. Born near Seattle. He when he was 13, he started dealing blow. He made twice as much money as his dad would. So his dad and him got in a big fight. Police were called. While his dad was in handcuffs, he kicked Justin out. So it's pretty rough. But through his drug dealing pals, he got down to LA and dealt there. His best friend died in his hands due to an overdose on a combination of different things. So that's really rough. So yeah, he had a really rough upbringing, so he has a good excuse for a lot of shit. But it's kind of a dunce. He the way he laughs, he has the most obnoxious laugh I've ever freaking heard. It's like I've coined the term snaff for it, because it's a mixture between a sneeze and a laugh. It's kind of like it's just relentless. So yeah, it's really sudden, like a sneeze. You never know when it's coming. It'll just he'll make jokes in his head. He's kind of like the Joker would do, or like an evil villain. He thinks of it in his head and then laughs at it. And then when he shares it with us, it's just not funny at all. He'll tell the joke, and his D and I just don't even grin. So it's pretty weird. Very obnoxious. He uses me as a scapegoat a lot. He'll start doing something and I'll do it too, then I'll follow. I don't usually start actions because I don't really know what I'm doing yet. So he'll do something and I'll follow, and then Dee'll yell at him stop, and he's like, okay, Will, so when that happens, we don't work on it. And he'll teach me what he should have done, and it's just kind of dumb. Calls me kid a lot too, to feel superior. He gloats a lot, just about everything he does in his life. He's very proud of himself, which is good, I guess. Good confidence. But he was talking about his fishing crew, and he was he fishes in the Bering Sea for other fish, and he was everyone thinks I'm a badass there, but I don't know, it's just what I do. And it's does everyone actually think you're a badass, or do you just want them to think you're a badass? It's kind of annoying. He chews dip, which sucks, and he's just chewing it on the boat, and then he'll just be spitting black spit into the boat 24/7, and it gets all in his wiry ass red beard, and it's just so gross. I hate it so much. He'll also hawk up a loogie,
but then he'll never spit it out. So he just like hawks it up, and it sounds absolutely horrendous. It's so disgusting, but then he'll just like swallow it again. I don't know, it's very annoying. He's just like weird. He always like, he wants to be close, or like touch me. I was like pat me on the back and stuff, and it's just like, just don't. He always thinks about pointless stuff. Like that's how he gets his jokes and thinks about that stuff. So he'll point stuff out that just doesn't matter at all to anything, but he'll still like make sure everyone knows that it's happening or that it could happen. He's very repetitive, so he'll tell you a lot of times. He also doesn't understand that other people have like common sense, so that like people can figure stuff out just by like watching what happens. He'll still explain it to you after he does it, even though it's like a very simple action. He also likes to do this thing where he like, because he'll be thinking about random stuff, and then he'll make this big realization, and he'll be like, oh, and Dee and I just don't care. We just know that it's just pointless, and then he'll just he keeps going, that I know now, that makes sense. And Dee and I are just, he's like, oh, and he just keeps going. Dee and I just leave it, but he'll just keep talking, and he'll finally break. It's pretty funny. Yeah, but I mean, he's a good guy. He's if he ever watches this, I gotta say something positive. He's easygoing, and he's done really well for his condition and his upbringing, so that's good. Yeah, good guy.
Hi. My name is Will Denny, and this is my skit for Nathan, who is my friend. Wolves eating soft apples. That was called Synced.
Still day 5. Went back out for about another 4 hours. It was slow. Only got like 200 pounds of fish, but it was pretty nice. It was like really calm. Almost, it was like calm for Lake Washington calm. The sun almost came, well, the sun's actually out now. It's like actually blue skies and stuff. It's warm, so that's nice. I had to strip down some layers. It's day 5, so about a fourth of the trip is gone, which is super exciting. Almost home. As you can see, sporting the new wear. Today's update, sponsored by the Red. I bathed in the steam room. It was very nice. I'm feeling very clean. And put new clothes on for the first day. Quote of the day is so it's really hard but simple. Yes. That's two people said that. We had another little political argument on the boat today during our downtime, of which we had a lot. So it was really exciting, and today was all about gun control and about how I want to save children's lives and how Dee and Justin want to kill young children with semi-automatic guns in schools. And so that's basically what the argument was, and I was just running them in circles. I'm actually very proud of my performance. I'm not huge in politics, and I don't know a lot about that stuff, but they were like, I'd get them, I'd just rebut all of their arguments, and then they'd try to bring up the same argument, and I'd just be like, nope, we've already been over that. I already rebutted it. Give me another argument. And it's just like all this stupid stuff. And I like ran in circles at one point. Like they started talking about how fast you could shoot with this semi-automatic or something. I was like, wait, are you arguing for my side? And they're like, oh, no, I mean, it's just like, come on. Like, Dee's alright. Dee's made some sensible points, and he knows his facts and stuff. And he's also always he's very adamant on how it's his opinion,
and he's almost so adamant that like he knows he's wrong, so he says it's my opinion so much. But anyways, Justin, not as educated, he said, so the quote comes from when we were talking about how easy it is to get a gun. In the very beginning of the argument, I said it should be hard to get a gun. He's like, no, it's super hard to get a gun already, and talking about all this stuff. And then after I ran him in circles, at the end of the argument, he was going like, no, but it's like, it's so easy to get a gun. Like, it's semi-automatic. I could get a gun if I wanted to like that. And I'm just like, wait, you were just saying it was hard. And like, that's why we need gun control. And I was like, so it's hard, but it's simple. And I just absolutely Jordan Kleppered his ass. And it was so funny. And I was very proud of that. So yeah, that's quote of the day. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I went out around 3 o'clock again this morning for about 4 or 5 hours. Didn't get much fish. It was pretty slow. By that I mean like 800 pounds of fish. Probably gonna go out at some point today. It is 10:45 in the morning. It feels like 5 o'clock right now. It's just these days that you do double suck so much. Oh, it's day 6. Oh, I never really thought about that. Oh, day 6. I'm counting down the days till I leave, and I'm counting this as one. That was just a little scratch in the wood. Yeah, so I should probably establish the bad stigma around this whole fishing trip. It was just like it all came from day 2.
Maybe one of my worst days of my life.
Yeah, that was a terrible day. I think the worst part probably was just that was my first day on the water and I didn't know what to do and I was trying to learn all of it. So I was thinking, what's this? Why is he doing that? What should I be doing right now? And all this stuff. At the same time, waves were crashing over. I was all seasick. The rain, I was cold and wet. It was terrible conditions. And there were just tons of fish in the net. It's heads and they call it heads and tails because they're like, you look down the net and you just see heads and tails just sticking out everywhere. We caught like 2,000 pounds in one 25 fathom net, which is just ridiculous. And so I think the worst part was just that I didn't have control and I had no clue what was happening. So I was like freaking out about that. And then on top of that, there was the whole thing about like, I could be at Green Lake right now playing spike ball with my friends. And then I was like, wow, I'm going to have to do this for the next 20 some days. So yeah, that definitely was a terrible first day. Put a bad stigma around this whole fishing trip, but it can only go uphill from there. We saw belugas today, which is kind of sick. Whole pod, like 500 belugas or something in one pod, just going through the bay, catching salmon. It's pretty sick. Anyways, it's not bad anymore. Of course, I still can't wait to get home. I'm thinking about getting on the plane constantly. Anyways, that's that. It's 9:25 now. We went out again a while ago. Went out fishing. It's fun. Always fun. It's really sunny in the beginning. Started to rain. Weather can change quick out here, apparently. But just washed my clothes. Felt like a really old-timey person. Of course, there's no washing machine out here. Remind me of my grandma. She always talks about how she had to do that. Or I think she talked about that at some point. She didn't have electricity and stuff. Very primitive. Yeah, you might not believe it. She may look 35, but she used to not have electricity, so she's doing well. Anyways, quote of the day. again by yours truly, Mr. Justin. I don't know his last name. You actually have to be really talented to be in a mosh pit.
For my civilized audience with a good heart, a mosh pit is simply a conglomeration of weirdos who thrash around to heavy metal at no specific rhythm.
So he was talking about how mosh pits were really difficult and how you have to be always focusing on 3 things. 1, dancing. 2, not being hit by other people. And 3, trying to hit other people. And that you always have to be focusing on all 3 things. So it's actually, you have to be really intelligent to partake in a mosh pit. Yeah. Also learned, today I learned that I actually get paid as much as Justin, which is pretty funny because he definitely does a lot more work than me. But I get off easy. I offer to help a lot, but he'll often enjoy the more difficult tasks. So I think that's funny. Also makes me a coworker. I used to think he was like above me and he could boss me around, but now it's just like we're at the same level. So, that's funny. We're warming up to each other, Justin and I. We're friendly, but we joke around and stuff. I made a super silly butt joke the other day. Absolute crowd pleaser. Dee and him loved it. I earned some respect. Cracked a few other knee slappers. Yeah, so making friends out here. Doing all right. Hi. I'm Will Denny, and this one goes out to my sister. Thank you. Day 7. I put another one here because symmetry is always very important. Went out this morning. I'm getting really tired of waking up at 3 o'clock, but got like 4,000 pounds this morning, and Dee kind of out of nowhere just said that I should take the rest of the day off, so that's nice. Him and Justin are going to go back out. Most exciting news of the day is that I found off-brand Fruit Loops. Day off was swell. A lot of downtime. It was really nice. Got a lot of stuff done. That was fun. Did fill in some potholes. That was work. But it was good. Quote of the day is, she misses her stud. That's something Justin said. And it actually made me kind of laugh. It was like the first thing that I actually enjoyed coming out of his mouth. She being his girlfriend, who is 22 years older than him, which is, hey, love is love, but I don't know, it's just, I don't see that very often. Yeah, signing off. Information segment.
On this segment of information,
The boat. 22 by 8 feet of solid aluminum, 100 horsepower of pure elbow grease and manliness. 4 250-gallon totes, 1 for man stuff and 3 for slaughtered protein. 4 hefty stanchions to keep the fish in line. 40 square feet of picking grounds. 2 25-fathom death traps. Knives, gasoline, a light, and a half-eaten bell pepper. Thrown on a not-so-threatening rickety old trailer and pulled by a badass 4-wheel drive, gas-guzzling Ford F-150 XLT Lariat. All this topped with a manly dose of hatred and racism. Day 8, I got to sleep in today because the Department of Fish and Games, they're always like regulating when people can go out and how much fish people can catch so that enough fish get to the spawning grounds to keep Mother Nature going. So they halted all fishing at 5 a.m. and then later in the day continued at 3. It's about 10:30 now, and I just came in since we went out around 2:30. Just came in. We didn't catch many fish. It's been sunny all day, really nice. Went for a run this morning, which was fun. Saw a fox.
That's a fox. Oh my gosh, that's a fox. Look at it. Hey. Oh, it's fast.
That was pretty sick. Quote of the day is, I was just working on Kyle Seager's fence before I came up here. Yeah, so that was Justin, who, when he's not fishing here or in long lining in the Bering Sea, he builds fences down in Seattle area. So, yeah, apparently he was building a fence for Kyle Seager, who is, if for those of you who don't know, he's the third baseman for the Mariners. He must be pretty decent because I know him, and you have to be a pretty decent baseball player for me to know you. The fence cost $70,000, which I think is pretty interesting. That's like an annual salary for some people. So yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It is day 9. Went out around 4. Fishing was slow once again. Came back, went over to town. Downtown Dillingham. Had a blast. First we went to the Peter Pan Seafood Inc., which is the company we sell all of our salmon to. And there I saw this. I snatched some authentic Dillingham apparel down there. Also scored some carrots and bananas at the store. Everything's very expensive over here, such as Arizona, which is like famously known to be 99 cents. Like, it's always been 99 cents. It's like over $3 here. I saw Tang. I don't think I've seen Tang since the moon landing. Quote of the day, Justin, when we were walking into the store, he just started laughing like he does. And then he turns to D and he's like, I just beat it up. And he like points to this mannequin that was just standing there in the store, like with some merch on it. And he's just like, this is such a dumb joke. D and Justin are in the cabin getting some rest right now. Have I shown you guys the cabin? Information segment. On this segment of information, the cabin. This is Dee's little hellhole. They call it the cabin. As you can see, it is a little hellhole. We got running water, non-potable of course. Microwave, oven, don't think that works. Camp stove. My bunk, Justin's bunk, Dee's bunk. Lots of crap. This is easily the worst smelling place in camp. It is so terrible, so potent. He claims that it's a mixture of motor oil, mice, and some other stuff. I've pretty much narrowed it down the possibilities to the fact that it's simply Justin's musk. I spend as little time as possible here. Found a new doggy. You guys know the drill. We need a little name for him. I wanted to take a bath today in the steam house, but we got back at like 10:30, and I had to sit down and be American, cook some hot dogs on my fire. Happy 4th of July, everyone. 4th of July in Dillingham is kind of funny, because something we take for granted back in the lower 48 is darkness during the 4th of July. Because fireworks are the staple of the Independence Day celebrations, and
fireworks look a lot nicer when it's dark out. But here, it doesn't get dark out till like 1 a.m. As you can see, it's currently exactly midnight. And this is probably how bright it would be at like 7 o'clock in Seattle. So yeah, the fireworks are just like a bunch of smoke and then a couple of little dots of light. So it's kind of funny. If people actually want to see fireworks, they have to wait till like between 1 and 3 a.m. is the dark hours. Yeah, feeling good about this fire. Warm. Quote of the day. D was just talking about something and he said, down in Canada. So my first reaction was like, wait a second. Then my second reaction was like, wait a second. It is down, which is interesting. And then I thought about it more and I was like, this is really the only place other than the North Pole where you can actually say down in Canada. Because everywhere north of Canada is Canada. Or the North Pole. So I thought that was pretty cool. Probably dumb for you guys, but it's too late now. Oh, this is the day 10 update. Fish were good today. We went out from like 5 to 9 and then 2 to 10. I'm Will Denny, and today I brought some props, and this doesn't really go out to anyone, but it's called middle school laundry. Thanks. Hello friends. It is now day 11. I gotta sit out this morning. We were supposed to go out at 5, but I stayed in, got some sleep, got washed up, bathed in the steam room. So I was all nice and clean for about an hour this morning. That felt good. So the bear population has really been getting crazy lately. You had to scare one away that was in someone's boat in camp. The other day, we saw footprints in front of the cabin yesterday. Father Victor, a native here, had to scare some away from his property. And this morning, while we were sitting on a net, I was exploring the beach. I saw some huge paw prints in the ground, like bigger than my hand. Just massive bear. So I was in danger. So I think what you're supposed to do with a bear is you're supposed to act big and scare it away. So I followed the paw prints to try to find it and scare it away, but to save my life. But I could not find the bear. So it was really dangerous. Mosquitoes are so dumb here. It's so annoying. They're just like, they latch on, and then even if you're like throwing your hand like that, they'll still be on you. It's really dumb. Taking a pretty walk right now. Alright guys, comments are in for the name of this pup. Turns out I have a very specific demographic. However, this time the results weren't as conclusive. It was split exactly evenly, 50-50, between the two names. The iconic small guy from the amazing show Hannah Montana, Rico, and the other name, another breathtaking character, Gibby from iCarly. So we're gonna have to do a little tiebreaker and see what this guy likes.
Gibby. Rico. Gibby. Gibby. Rico! Rico! I think he likes Gibby more? I don't know.
Alright guys, looks like we're going with Gibby. Exciting news for all of you. I know this is your favorite part. But I have 2 quotes of the day today. Both coming from Justin. Both dumb things he did / said. Number 1, the quote is, "I just want it done." So when we unsnap, when we pull the nets, there's a cut line, which is just a little loop of line between the anchor line and the snap, the carabiner from the net. And if the net has too much tension in it and we can't pull it together to unsnap it, we just cut the cut line. So it's like a sacrificial piece of rope. So to get the net undone. So I've saved it like probably at least 4 times now when they're about to cut it, and I'm like, wait, why don't we just try to pull it together and unsnap it? So I was doing that again, and Justin was all fired up. He was gonna cut it, and I was like, wait, let me just try to. And he's like, no, we have no time. I forget what he said, but then he was like, I just want it done. As I was reaching out to try to fix it, and he grabs his knife out. He's really proud of his knife, and he starts like hacking away at it, and he's like madman. I'm like, geez, buddy, calm down. I really like being passive aggressive with him because he's very easily aggravated, and like, not aggravated, but he gets really excited and amped up about stuff, and it's like, come on, buddy. The second quote was, "It's not even close to 50 degrees out." He likes to like argue with me or dispute what I say, so because I kind of like to do that to him. It was probably like 75 degrees today, and I was taking off layers, and I was like, geez, it's at least 100 degrees out here. And then it's called a hyperbole. And then he was like, no, it's not even close to 50 degrees. And I was like, what? It's definitely at least 70. And then D was like, oh yeah, it's up at least 70. And he was, and then I started like laughing. I was like, that was so dumb of you to say. And then he was like, hey, I said it's not even close. That could be up or down from 50. I was like, that's just not how you use that phrase or that expression. It's just like, it's so dumb. It's such a weird thing for him to do. Some terrible news is that I got kicked out of Jerry's today. Some other guys are going to stay there. Some guys have to move back into the cabin and sleep with the other guys. Dee's a really loud snorer. It smells bad and everything. But I'll get through it. Adios. Information segment.
On this segment of information, poopy.
Step 1. Realize you need to poopy.
I need a poopy.
Step 2. Wander on down to the nearest conveniently located outhouse. Step 3. Air it out a wee bit. It gets stinky in there. Step 4. Place a lining of toilet paper around the seat to prevent the transmission of Alaskan butt germs. Step 5. Do your deed. It is the evening of day 12, which means I've officially completed most of my trip, which is exciting. Can't wait to get home. Had a long day today. Woke up at 5, went out, came back around 1, went back out around 4, came back in around 10. So it's kind of a lot of hours. The quote of the day, again by Justin. It's more of the story than the quote, but the quote was, people want to be cool in hell. And it was, I forget what I said, but I wanted something, and I told the guys I want something, and it was kind of outlandish. Probably like world peace or something like that, because I'm like a really nice guy. But anyways, D was like, yeah, and people in hell want ice water. So then Justin asked, he didn't hear, so he was like, what? And I told him I want whatever it was, and he was like, yeah, and people want to be cool in hell. And that's like, so he like definitely heard D's response or something. He always wants to be, like, he very often follows D. I don't know if it was like kissing ass to D or something, but he just repeated him like almost to the word. So he had definitely heard the conversation. He does really interesting socially different things, and I don't know if it's like, I feel like I'm kind of being mean to him, but I want you guys to know that he's kind of conceited and like really really self-confident and stuff. So it's a little justified. I'm not being super mean. He has a little bit of it coming to him. So maybe I should lay off. It's a friendly mean. Like, I still like him. I respect him. He's very hardworking. Anyways, so I said, I looked at him and I was like, that was a really weird thing you just did. And he was like, kiss my ass, kid. And I was like, no thank you. I'd probably get secondhand and die. And that shut him up. Because I feel like everyone that smokes or chews or whatever knows that it's dumb, so they like they can't argue it. Yes. Last night was my first night back in the cabin. D was killing the snoring game. Super loud, super awesome. Turns out Justin talks/yells in his sleep, which is also fantastic. It was smelly, it was hot, it was light, it was great. The good thing is that I got a lot of time to think about how I was going to solve my problem. My two problems after getting kicked out of Jerry's was not having Wi-Fi and not being able to sleep. So, problem number 1, I set up my hammock right behind Jerry's house where there is still Wi-Fi. So I can just leech off his Wi-Fi from there. Problem number 2 is right in here. This is my new room. It's super quaint. Totally quaint, as you can see. And bam, there she blows. Not very bright in here, but it's for sleeping. But I do. This episode is sponsored by Mighty Bright. So I do have my trusty Mighty Bright out, ready to light things up, get things a little crazy. These things are really just indestructible, all-purpose tools. They're really just made for the last frontier. But yeah, I got a fan now, and I got power still. I'm really excited about this spot, guys. I got cardboard to sleep on. Fuck yeah. It's quiet. It's private. Yeah. Hey guys, I'm here in my room with a morning update. I asked T to sit out this morning so I could watch the Sweden game, but that didn't work out. I tried Hulu Live, Fox Sports, YouTube, and Univision, and none of those worked out for me, so I could not watch the game. Hence the reason Sweden took the L. But My goal is to find some way to watch it by the time the final rolls around. That would suck to miss that. Quote of the day was Churio, and that was Dee's cute little response to me greeting him in an English accent. He was trying to be all like, Cheerio. So that's funny. Weather's taking a turn for the worse. It's all rainy and crappy outside. But it's been really sunny for the last few days, so I guess we deserve it. Dee says we're gonna go out around 7 today, probably. So I'll catch you later. It's later, day 14 later. Yesterday we just ended up watching movies at night, so I didn't work yesterday and didn't even get to watch the game, so it was just a total waste of a day. So that sucked. But we went out around 5:30 this morning, and the weather was similar to that of day 2. It was pretty terrible, but I actually had a fine time, just because I knew what I was doing now, and it was just kind of like, it's just all about attitude. Like I just kind of made a joke of everything, and it was just like funny how many things went wrong. But yeah, it was like, waves were big. I didn't actually get too seasick. It was windy and rainy, and a lot of fish again. We probably caught like 2,000 pounds or something in the one net, and in the 150 fathom net. So yeah, we were out for like 6 hours, but it felt like 2. It flew by. We were always doing something. So yeah, that was great, and now we haven't done anything for the rest of the day, and it's boring. Yeah, I've been very bored today. Justin made it to the quote of the day once again, and it was while we were out, he was like, the net was getting all tangled up, and he was yanking on it to try to untangle it, and then he'd get yanked forward by it, and then he'd yank it again, get yanked forward, and nothing was working, and he was getting all beat up, and he was screaming and swearing. He took off his sunglasses they're D's, and he just chucked them on the deck of the boat. They shattered in like 4 pieces, and then he grabbed the boat hook to do something with it, and he did his thing and threw it overboard on accident, and then like had to recover that, like reaching overboard, and it was just a total mess, and he was not happy about it. I was just like trying to get as far away from him as possible to protect myself. And Dee said, "What happened to my glasses?" And he said, "I hit my chin on the gunnel and they bounced off." And it was just, I thought it was funny that he used the term bounce because they were shattered in like 4 pieces. And it was just like, just obviously not the truth. Yeah.
Information segment.
On this segment of information, tenders. Alright, so this segment will be answering the question, what we do with the salmon that we catch. So this is a tender boat. They're bigger boats that are just anchored out near the beaches in which the set netters fish. So all the little set netters just come up, pull next to it, and drop off their fish and get what they need. And the tenders are contracted with Peter Pan, and they get like flat rates. And their job is to simply go out, pick the fish, and bring them back to the processing area, bring them back to Peter Pan. So all the tenders are set up a little differently. So I'll be showing you how the silo is set up. This is our favorite tender because we like the people that run it. As Justin calls it, he says the Gaelic pronunciation is shishilo. Like that. But I understand that part, but I don't understand this part. I'm just pretty sure that's not how languages work. So I'm assuming it's Shalilo, if anything, the pronunciation. But I don't know, Justin claims it's a Shishilo. That's the native Gaelic way to say it. Another reason we really like the Solilo is because Justin and this girl on the Solilo have this really adorable, quirky, flirtatious thing going on. Anyways, I'll be going from stern to bow, and yes, this is a tender boat. So in the back of the boat, they have 4 really big totes, and they're all full with shaved ice, and they get the ice from Peter Pan because Peter Pan wants the fish cold to keep them fresh. So we pull up in the beginning of the day, right after we set our nets, and we fill our totes with that ice, and then they have cold water that's like 40 degrees or something, and we fill our totes, so our totes are just full of ice water. The next part of the boat is this crane, and where we put the fish, there's a hole in the boat that goes down to the bottom of the boat, like what will be the cabin of the boat, and it's there's a whole refrigerator system under these totes to keep the water really cold in here, and it's just full of fish and cold water. Later they'll just hook up a tube and pump out the fish into the Peter Pan place. Our boat comes up, we come back with fish. We have all our fish in cold water. Fish are in our totes. We pull up, tie on. This crane will raise up, and we'll hook onto our in our totes we have brailers, and they're basically just bags that line the totes with our fish in all of them, and we hook the crane up to our brailers, and they bring them over here. They weigh them. There's a hanging scale. They weigh them and then drop them in, and they all go down the hole. Nice, crane's done. Okay, and then this is kind of interesting. I like this. They call it the pelican hook, and this is what the crane. This is what's on the end of the crane. It's like that, and so this is the hook from the crane, and then there's this whole thing, and it has one solid hook, one hook that's like this thing pivots here, and it'll we put these ropes. They're a lot longer than this. These ropes go through little loops in our brailers, the things that line our totes with all the fish in them, and then we loop them back onto here, and you pivot this thing up, push this guy up, which is spring loaded and has a hole in it, and then it would end up like that, with these guys coming in like that, and then our bag down here with all the fish in them. So that's how that would hold that, and then there's another line from the bottom of our brailer onto here, so it doesn't, onto this hook, so it doesn't fall off. And then so this is just spring loaded, holding this whole thing on, and then you pull this line and it just pulls this thing up and sets that free, and these guys come off and drops the bag and all the fish and stuff. So that probably made no sense at all, but no need to fear, because there's another drawing, and I wow, I never realized that till I... Okay, so this is sex ed. This is the pelican hook, kids. It is... Wow. Anyways, the crane hooks up here, and so these these little the little sperm down here, they hook around the brailer, and then they'll hook up back here. This guy will fold up back up. Guy will fold up back up the urethra, and these guys will, the brailer bag will be hanging here with these through it, hooked onto this hook. Marker died. And then the brailer would be here with all the fish in it. So then when this spring is pulled up, it's like it goes into the hole. It's like fuck. No, it's like, so like this thing is in the hole, and then when this hole's pulled up, it's released and it pivots out and lets these guys go, which lets the brailer go. And that gets pulled by this guy. And these are just metal things that hold the these ropes on. Does that make sense? The people that are running the tenders are up here, and this little kind of comes out of the boat. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, they're up there, and while we were offloading, they were recording the weight, type of fish, the temperature of the fish, and like if it was on ice and all this stuff. And they make a little receipt. D gets off the boat, goes up, gets the receipt, and then at the end of the year, he turns the receipts in to Peter Pan, or like he shows them. They swap receipts, and that's how he gets paid. And then for the silo, at the very bow of the boat, they have a gas tank where the set netters can come and hook up, and they fill this up at Peter Pan, and they'll give us like little charges for that, and we work all that out when we cash in our receipts for the fish, and it all works out. Most boats have the gas tank at the back of the boat. Yep. Hi, I'm Will Denny, and this goes out to my friend Max. And it's called Things That Never Are Going to Happen. Hey, let's go do some successful fishing and then finish your fish tank. That was it. It's day 15. I just took a steam. I'm in it right now, just cuddling with the warmth. I'm feeling clean. Got this fly shirt on. Super sick. Don't have much to say. We went out this morning. Caught about 1,800 pounds. We were out for like 5 or 6 hours. Been getting some cravings lately. Feel pregnant. Really missing some good food from home. Top of my list right now are probably sushi, pad thai, and a banh mi sandwich. So I gotta get that when I get home. I ran Indie Bistro. Quote of the day, again by Justin. One of the things that he likes to brag about is how he's super good in the cold, and that he's so manly and he can withstand any temperatures. So today he was like, "Are you cold, Will?" While we were out, and I was like, "No, not particularly." I like to use like kind of a silly voice with him because it kind of annoys him. And it's kind of passive aggressive. I don't know, it's fun. Anyways, I go, "Not particularly," and he's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Are you cold?" He's like, "Have you ever heard me say that I'm cold?" Just because he thinks it's really cool. That was probably a quote. Yeah, that would be the quote. And I was like, "No, have you ever heard me say that I was cold?" D said that at like the exact same time. Kind of just chip away at his manliness and like his conceited behavior. And yeah, it's dope. And then he does dumb stuff to get back at me, and I just be like, I be the bigger man, and it's hilarious. It's day 16. Went out this morning for about 5 hours. Caught like 3,000 pounds of fish. Good successful day. It was fairly calm in the morning. Got a little rainy. It's kind of windy now. So that's why we left. Also, the fish slowed down. I'm not sure if we're going to go out again today. We very well might. Quote of the day, or in other words, story of Justin doing something dumb of the day. is, I told you to wait. Okay, now come. And that wasn't sped up at all. There was legitimately no pause between those two sentences. Therefore, I took it comedically. So to explain this, I'm going to do a little illustration for you all. Apparently there's no paper here in the last frontier, but I got some cardboard. So the setting, we got our boat with the nets in the bow. We kind of just run ashore. This is all like muddy, so it doesn't hurt the bottom of the boat. This is water, this is mud. So then we have our anchor up here, and the goal to set the net is to attach our nets onto a line that's coming out from the anchor. And this morning, the anchor line was like that, because that's just how it floated up with the tide overnight. So Justin jumps out of the boat to go get it. I jump out and I get this net all figured out, untangled a little bit, and I start walking up to where the line would meet, but I like get to here, and he's like, wait there. But it's just like so obvious that this is not gonna reach down to here, so I just like keep walking up here. So like the net's pulled out to there now, and as I do that, he like swings this down here, and once he picks his head up, he's like, I told you to wait. Okay, now come, because he's there, and it's like obvious that I still need to go more. But I don't know, it was just funny that he thought it could have made it all the way down to here. Whoa. Hey guys, still day 16. I've just been getting so bored lately. It's just so dumb, such a waste of time. You just spend like hours on end doing absolutely nothing. So I went out and just ran around outside to try to find something to do. I found some crazy moss. I was just like really deep, and you'd like sink your feet into it. It felt like walking through snow. It was kind of cool. It was dry, but then took a few more steps and it turned out to be a swamp. So now my feet are soaked, shoes soaked, socks soaked. Uncomfortable. So that sucked. So I got back out, and then I remembered the Klondike Gold Rush. So I was like, oh, maybe I should just pan for some gold. Got out the frying pan. Lo and behold, totally real 24 karat gold and diamond. I didn't know there were diamonds up here. But totally sick bling. So that was good, I guess. Probably sell for at least, I don't know, 400,000 or 500,000. Yeah. Doofy! Buddy, what happened? You're in the cone of shame. Doofy. How are you doing? Oh, poor guy. I'm so sorry. One like equals one save Doofy. Information segment. On this segment of information, D. D's just a little teddy bear.
D just said that he was gonna get some shut-eye before we went out in a second, and by the time I was able to get this bag down from that shelf, he's just already snoring. Sound asleep.
Everybody has their go-to position on the boat to sleep in and sit in while we're sitting on a net waiting for fish. And this is D's. And it just looks super unnatural and uncomfortable, but he's perfectly satisfied with it. It just looks like an ab workout, but he's always like falling asleep and just resting in it, and it's absolutely adorable. When D tells stories, he takes very long pauses, and also when he gets mad, he gets really mad. Like he got mad in the story that he's talking about, so then he'll get mad while he's telling it. to like add emphasis to the story, but he like actually gets mad and it's a little scary, and he'll get really loud. Dee's very highly respected in the fishing community. He's been doing this for about 33 years now, which is 2 times longer than I've been alive. He's the best picker in the game. Dee personally knows Ott's Kilcher from Alaska, the last frontier. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Occasionally Dee will use his pick, the thing we use to get the fish out of the nets that's got scales and slime and blood on it and all that, as a toothpick. Dee's a total sweetheart and a pretty great guy for a conservative. It's day 17. It was heads and tails this morning. We caught like 7,000 pounds, which shattered my previous record. So it was pretty crazy. Came in for the rest of the day and have been bored for the rest of the day. Quote of the day. Quote of the day is actually from last night, but it's too good to pass up. From Justin. He said, "You know, they should really look into cryogenic freezing." Which is like the freezing you see in movies where they like freeze people, like Austin Powers, and then bring them back to life 40 years later. And he was thinking about it for prisoners, to just freeze people instead of putting them in prison. He's just so dumb. It's just such unintelligent things that he says often. And it's just so... It's so dingusly. And it's not like, oh, poor guy, he had a bad education. He's just silly and he's uneducated. He still thinks he's smarter than everyone else. And it's like, he's still really cocky about all it. So it's just annoying. I hope all these quotes and stories about Justin are funny for you guys. Because, I mean, maybe you just have to be there for all of them. But they're just so... When you're here, it's just like... It's just dumb when you hear it. And it's so... They stand out and they're so, like... Socially weird and new. And he just, like... His dialect is just... interesting. Greetings. It's day 18, and we went out this morning. Got like 2,000 pounds. It's slowing down. Still, 2,000 is pretty good, but wind started picking up a lot. Like I'd try to spit out of one side of the boat, and it would fly out the other side of the boat. It's kind of crazy. We went into town this morning, and I got more carrots, and this woman working at the store, she asked my name for the receipt, because they don't do like real receipts up here. It's a little civilized, I guess. And I was like, Will Denny, and apparently her brother's name is William Denny, which is pretty crazy. So she's the Denny family, and he's from Iowa, and my dad's from Iowa. So we could be related, because Denny family from Iowa. So that's pretty crazy. We probably aren't, but there's also a decent chance that we are. And if we are related, to meet in Dillingham, Alaska, that'd be crazy. Small world. Quote of the day from Justin. He said, "Well, it is, but it isn't." Just another dumb thing. Another thing he really likes to do is he tries to teach people about stuff that he doesn't know about. And he talks really confidently and fake educatedly, if that's a word, about a bunch of different topics, about like everything. He tries to act like he knows everything about everything, but he's just often very wrong. So he was trying to teach me what a switchblade was, like what the definition of a switchblade was, and like Dee told me one thing, and then he told me another thing, but when he said it, he basically described every knife, like every different pocket knife, and then said that's a switchblade. So it made no sense, so I kept asking, like, wait, so this and that and that, and then he told me like the opposite of what he said before, and it was just really dumb. And then I was finally like, so is that a switchblade? He had a knife, and he was like, well, it is, but it isn't. So he just obviously didn't know about it. And, like, it's okay to not know about stuff, and no one should know everything. But it's just, like, it's not okay to pretend like you know about stuff. And if you knew about it, I'd love it if you taught me. I like to learn. But it's just, like, it's so dumb to act confident about something you don't know about and try to just spread false facts. I just hate that so much. And it's not like he did it that one time. He did it like 5 notable times today. Another time he did it about like the EU and just dumb stuff about currency and like how they're trying to force everyone to have the same currency, but it's like that happened a while ago and they've been doing pretty well with the currency, but then like he didn't know England had the pound, and there's just like all this dumb stuff. I don't know. He'll also like if I'll correct him, he'll try to argue even if he has no clue. But then when D corrects him, like he'll say something and D'll be like, well, no, actually, blah, blah, blah. And then he'll be like, right. But it's like, so he just like argues against himself all the time. It's, God, it pisses me off. And then, I'll leave it at that. Information segment.
On this segment of information, gear.
Hi, I'm Will Denny. Let me tell you about gear. First thing to know when it comes to gear is that you should have a very comfortable, athletic, and fashionable base. Another thing that's very important is to layer your clothing. Tuck it in. Pull it up. This is an appropriate base for gear. The next layer is really all about warmth while you're in the water. I've added a hoodie, some sweatpants, and not one, but 2 pairs of socks. Now it's very important to have medium socks on the base layer, then tall socks, then short socks. It was a man named Gary Hunter who invented this method, and even with modern technology, it has not been beat. Remember, layering is very important. Tuck it in, pull it up. This next layer is simply another hoodie. However, it has one very important feature: a built-in balaclava. This thing is very useful in the water because 1, it adds warmth, but also protects your mouth from silly things such as slime, guts, blood, scales, mosquitoes, mud, and more. Here, layering isn't as important. You simply dangle it over your sweatpants. Next, I've simply added a cap. It goes under both hoodies and provides some UV protection, as well as slime-free head scratches when my gloves are covered in slime. Now, I'll simply hop into my waders. And just like that, I am waterproofed from my nipples down. These waders provide slight warmth as well. Now, I've got on an extra large safety vest for extra large safety. Now, I've simply put on some super cute gloves for my super cute hands. These provide ample amounts of warmth. I choose mismatched colors for fashionable reasons. And remember, kids, tuck it in, pull it up. Now, I simply put on my heavy-duty rain jacket. Good. Now, pretty much my entire body is waterproofed, except for my hands and my face. For my hands, I simply put on some really cute green gloves. Now these are waterproof, and they have a good amount of texture to really grab onto the fish and just really get in their gills, just to get a good hold on them. Next, I put a pick around my neck. It has a stretchy cord, and it's used to really grind out those fish from the net. Just kind of get into their gills, rip them out of the net. Now what I've done is added my Vicky, or in other words, a knife. It is used for cutting. Conveniently located on my right hip. This belt also provides as a way to stop water from getting up my skirt. With all of this on, I have completed my uniform. I am ready for fishing. As you may be able to tell, my gear is not that flexible. As you can see, I can't even do the splits in them. Now, when it gets super sunny and warm out, I typically just do a little spin and then a quick Jolly Leprechaun Lucky Charms heel tap, and I'll change into my warm clothes. Sweet. Now, Justin says I look like an Arab in this hat, but I think I look more like Steve Irwin. Now, everyone wears different gear here in Alaska. Some people pay more for their gear, some people pay less. Some people find different things more comfortable. However, through all of my experience up here in the last frontier, I have found this is the ticket to success. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. I'm so bored. It's day 19. The wind is howling. Poseidon is pissed. And so I don't think we're going out all day. So it's just kind of dumb. I made brownies as a form of entertainment today. I didn't necessarily want brownies, but it was just something to do. Never done that before. Then I spent about 45 minutes trying to learn the high-pitched lyrics of All Mine. Yeah, that's it. Catch you later. Hey, it's now 10:41 p.m. About to go to bed because I gotta wake up at 2 a.m. tomorrow to go fishing to catch the high tide. So it's really exciting. I just talked to my mother and father and Nathan. I talked to Nathan for like an hour and 41 minutes, so that was fun. Quote of the day is, "I'm bored," and that was said by me. And the story behind that quote is that I was bored today. I didn't tell you guys about Mug Up, which was at town when we went yesterday, or the day before. I think it was yesterday. But Mug Up is basically like breakfast for all the laborers at Peter Pan, and it was really interesting because it was like the most diverse group of people I've ever been around. Probably it was just like there were a bunch of Eastern European people there. That's probably the majority, and then there were like a bunch of Hispanics, a bunch of Asians, and a lot of African American men, and it was really cool. It was very diverse, and the coolest thing was that, like, I figured it was basically a cafeteria where they were all eating, and I figured they would be like separated into different tables and like cliques of race, but it was actually really mixed up, and that was interesting to see because they all had something in common, and it worked out. So interesting, world peace and stuff. Hi, I'm Will Denny, and this one is dedicated to my mother. That's my skit, and it's called I Left the Fan On Again. It's day 20. which is a big checkpoint in my journey. It means there are only 3 days. Like, as of right now, if everything goes according to plan, I should be home or in SeaTac in 3 days, which is super exciting. It was a very long day today, probably the longest day so far. Got up at 2 a.m., went out until 8 a.m., came back at 8 a.m., so I felt like the day was already over when I should have been waking up. So that kind of sucked. Then we went back out 11 a.m. to like 5-ish. It was also a very long day for Justin. Did a lot of dumb stuff today. I told you how he makes a lot of dumb jokes, but I haven't had many good examples. But one today, it was just literally the joke was packaged tuna is this much better than canned tuna. And that was it has just no humor in that. And he just snapped away at that thing. And God, I just don't understand it sometimes. All the time. I never understand it. Told some dumb stories. He had, oh God, I walked into the cabin to get some water, and he was putting on, so first of all, our bread isn't that nice, because it's like the cheapest bread, and it's like white, but it's kind of off-white, so I don't know what the off-white part is, but it's not great bread, but you know, you can't be too fancy up here. But anyways, so he has that bread, and then he was just slathering it in mayonnaise, just like maybe how you put cream cheese on a bagel. He had like that much mayonnaise on his bread, and it wasn't toasted or anything. It was just a soft piece of bread. And then he put nacho cheese, like from a can, on top of that. And it's like the fakest cheese I've ever had. I tried it once and it was not very good. Anyway, so he had shitty bread, slathered in mayonnaise, coated with nacho cheese, and I was like, that sounds terrible. And he was like, what's wrong with some flavored bread? And immediately I was like, taste and nutrition. Like, those are both lacking in flavored bread. And he was just like, yeah, so. I was like, well, that's what's wrong with it. It was just, so gross. Anyways, but the quote of the day, the official quote of the day is, that tree hasn't moved since last year. Doesn't need much of a backstory. Anyways, I just took a steam. I'm feeling really clean. Sporting a new wear. Sponsored by Pandora, I think. No, I don't know what that's called. Here, sponsored by Adidas. I feel like I should tell you guys about the steam room more. I feel like you guys deserve to be informed. Information segment.
On this segment of information, the steam room.
Alright, so I'm in the steam room. And this is in the center of camp, and it's basically a sauna. You got the fireplace with rocks on it. And then it's in just a wooden room. This is how we bathe here, or take a shower, if you will. Yeah, so I also like to chill in here a lot because, especially after people bathe, because then it's nice and toasty and warm and cozy. So first thing we have to do is start a fire. So once you got that all nice and hot, you just kind of throw it in there. And a big mistake that people very often make while making fires is that they underestimate the power of oxygen. So we're just going to blow on that and get it all nice and started. Whoa!
Alright, so now that the fire's all fired up, we place 3 buckets full of water here,
very cold water and non-potable and not really that clean of water, and very dirty buckets for extra hygiene. There's this huge pot, and sometimes it has water in it, but it does nothing because there's just always too much water in it to boil anyways, so it doesn't even steam. But this is where the steam room part comes in. Can't see that well, but you can hear it steaming, and then you feel immediate heat wave, humid heat wave. It's kind of exciting. So anyways, I usually like to do some laundry first, get that out of the way, hang it up to dry, and then I go head down. Got my soap ready to go. Alright, little concern. I started to just scratch my shoulder, and I'm just, can you see that? Just like, I don't know what that is. It's like dead skin and dirt and just a combination of all this crap and like fish line probably. And I'm just like scratching it off my body. Once I'm super duper clean, I hop into my nice dirty towel, stale, smelly towel, and just clean off even more. And then I'll hop into some nice new clean clothes, and then I'll go to sleep in my nice dirty bed. So yeah, I feel clean now, and it'll last for about 2 hours if I'm lucky. That is the steam room. Hello, everyone. It's Will coming at you with a special ASMR Day 21 update. We went out for about 5 hours today at 11 o'clock. I got to sleep in, which was very nice. Very happy about that. We didn't catch too many fish, but we caught a lot of sticks and branches in our net. Hey guys, it's day 22, which means I'm leaving tomorrow, which is very exciting. I cannot wait to get home. There's just so many pros to being home, and so many cons here that aren't gonna happen at home. As you can see, I'm in my hammock right now. Forgot to mention that I missed the World Cup yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. But I just got Wi-Fi back. I hadn't had Wi-Fi for the last few days. Just got that. France won. That's exciting. I didn't really care between France and Croatia, but it's pretty cool, I guess. Got some pretty funny stories for you all today. Got a couple. First one started yesterday. I was getting something from the snack box, and Justin said, "Are my M&Ms still in there?" And I looked around, and sure enough, there's a bag of M&M crisps, which is like, instead of the milk chocolate center, there's like wafer crispy stuff. I was like, "Yep." And he was like, "Okay, good." So that kind of proves that he really likes them and he cared about them. So fast forward to today, and D sees them in the bottom of the box and grabs them and opens them and starts eating them, puts a big handful in his mouth and goes, "Oh, these are terrible." And once again, because Justin really appreciates D's opinion and copies his opinion, he was like, "Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like regular M&Ms." But you could tell that Justin was a little bit bummed out that he was eating all of them and that he said they were bad. So then D gave me a few and Justin a few, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's not that good." And Justin was like, "Yeah, I only enjoy milk chocolate or peanut M&Ms." And then I kept going on about like, kind of like how I kind of like Jim and he's Dwight. I just realized that. That's awesome. Oh no, that's high praise. I don't want to gloat, but that's kind of what it's like. Anyways, so I'd be like, "What about caramel M&Ms?" He'd be like, "No, peanut M&Ms, pretzel M&Ms," and I did that for like five or six different types of M&Ms. I was just making stuff up, and every time he'd be serious, like, "No, milk chocolate and pretzel, or milk chocolate and peanut," and and then, so while I was annoying him with that, D just, even though he said they were terrible, just finished the whole bag, just poured it in his mouth. So that was a bad time for Justin. Next story is the quote of the day, and the quote was, "I'm done trying to explain it." And we were arguing about how many times we had picked the net, because like after a while it kind of gets, you kind of forget. So I said we picked it 3 times, and he thought we picked it 2 times, but I knew I was right, like always. No, but this time I knew I was right, and he kept trying to talk over me, but I kept just saying like the 3 times, and I was sure I was right, and D had my back because he also knew it was 3, but Justin kept trying to explain it was 2, and then I finally like explained it very thoroughly while Justin was quiet, like in his little quiet pouty mode. And so I explained it, and it was like right, and everyone knew it was right, and I was like, "Isn't that right, Justin?" And Justin was like, "Ugh, I'm done trying to explain it." Like he was still right, but he just knew he was wrong, but he couldn't like let that be. It's just so dumb. I hate when people do that. Third story is, I walked out of the cabin, and he was trying to pet a dog. He was trying to pet Doofy, but Doofy was just kind of like backing away from him, like he was scared of him. And I was like, "Oh, why are you scaring Doofy?" And he was like, "I'm not scaring Doofy. You just walked out and scared him." And while he was saying that, Doofy just walked around Justin, like keeping an eye on Justin, and then walked over to me and like snuggled up with my leg for me to pet him. So it was like I scared him, but he wanted to come to me, and he avoided Justin to get to me. Pretty proud of that. Apparently Noah's Ark was real. I really had no clue about that. I always thought that was just kind of a children's tale, but it's totally real apparently. And That's so many interesting questions I have about that, and just so few answers. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, I gotta go to bed. See you tomorrow.
Will's uber duper radically epic axe throwing trick shots.
Yeah, so that was 22 days worth of trick shotting. It just became too easy. Like I just nailed those first time, and I just kind of got bored with it. So I totally just didn't even try any other like cool ones. So I'm sorry. But yeah. Trick shots. It is day 23. Went out this morning around 4:30. Came back 10:30ish. Probably like 2,000 pounds or so. Something really funny happened with Justin once again. So Justin sings a lot, and he sings like really off pitch, and he sings the same tune over and over and stuff. So he says, "All I want for Christmas is 2 black teeth," and he thinks that's funny, and he's said that probably 5 times a day the entire time I've been up here, and like I've just never laughed, and Dee's never laughed and stuff, but today he said it again, and for the first time Dee was like, "Ha, 2 black teeth?" So it just shows how little Dee pays attention to anything he says, and he just doesn't care whenever Justin talks. He like zones it out. Because just today, out of the 23 days I've been here, him saying it 5 times a day, this is the first time Dee realized. It was very funny. Justin talked a lot while no one was listening today, which has always been a problem, but today was like especially noticeable. Like Dee and I would be having a conversation while he was like talking. Like he was trying to talk to us, and Dee and I were just talking, like obviously not paying attention to him, because he was just talking about some pointless stuff once again. God, I don't get how he keeps talking. Like he has no sense of like reading the room or anything. It's pretty funny. Yeah, so day 23, quote of the day is, "I'm going home." And I said that due to the fact that I'm going home right now. Alright, I'm home now. So I guess this is done. Hi, I'm Will Denny, and this skit goes out to my dentist. Thank you. That was called dental hygiene.